Returning to my Coin Lady channel, I am pleased to see you again. You never know, maybe the greatest is yet to come in this market cycle, and it might not be for the reason you would expect. For those who have been following the market for any length of time, you will be aware that XRP has, on occasion, fallen behind, most notably in 2017 when it failed to reach its new all-time high. From the beginning of 2017 until around the middle of December, it peaked on January 4, 2018, and then it seemed like it was going nowhere. This was because it had been consolidating, doing nothing, and trading sideways for nearly 6 months while Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies were experiencing explosive growth. By the way, during that market cycle, XRP achieved the highest performance of any asset class, rising by an astounding 80,000%. So, yep, the cherry on top was kept for last. Although that may be the case, and it would be okay if XRP fell behind at times in the past, that is not my main point. I don't mind that, but there's a reason to be optimistic about this. In fact, I'm excited to share a couple things at the beginning of the video because, deep down, we've all been wondering, or at least should have been wondering, if this market is actually going to grow. Reason being, alternative investment strategies don't materialize until the Russell 2000 begins to rise, which indicates that risk-seeking investors are shifting their focus to small-cap firms. When that occurs, a connection with alt season becomes apparent. However, that has not happened, and it hasn't happened in the 15 years that the cryptocurrency asset class has existed. Therefore, that is a source of anxiety for some. Personally, I don't think we should be doing this more often. I'll get into that later on, but for now, just know that XRP, along with possibly a lot of other altcoins, will be put on the back burner if my suspicions about the future are accurate. The thing is, small-cap stocks have lagged behind at times in the past. Although it has occurred, we have failed to observe it throughout the time that the cryptocurrency asset class has been in existence. By the way, I do recall mentioning that particular issue about 6 months ago. However, I possess further facts that I believe will inspire you to have a far more hopeful outlook on the possible outcomes of this market cycle. I should preface this by saying that I come from absolutely no financial background. You should absolutely not invest based on anything I write or say, since I am not providing financial advice. Recorded at 11:19 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, September 24, 2024, the second I dropped my phone. I'm simply an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related things. Secured XRP for 59 cents. The Crypto Fear Greed Index was $64,312 when I bought Bitcoin. Here we have it, the market is formally back in greed, with a score of 59 out of 100. For the time being, we're just a little greedy, and at some unspecified future moment, we'll be extremely greedy again. That is something I am really anticipating. In order to get there, what must we do? As I mentioned before, we are on the periphery of the video. It is imperative that the marketplaces grow. Since small-cap stocks and alternative cryptocurrencies are supposedly riskier investments, we need to witness a broader range of investors getting involved. Basically, it's rise to the top for the less dangerous stuff. That has become really popular. That is why additional funds have been invested in it. As a result, large-cap cryptocurrencies are seen as more secure investments, such as Bitcoin, XRP, and others. Seth Golden, a consultant for hedge funds and chief marketing strategist at Phenom Group, shared this graphic with you, and now it appears on your screen. I was utterly enthralled by this one. This is one of those times when I really think you should look at your screen, as long as you're not driving, if you're able to. Do not do it, with 2 drivers and 10 hands on the wheel is dangerous. Now examine this graph. Here it says it all. On average, Exhibit 3, CRSP, Bank of America, US, Equity and Quant Strategy, and I'm not sure where the Occidents are pulling them from. The source, if you're interested in seeing it nonetheless, is at the bottom. Display 3, however, typically. In economic cycles that did not include a recession, large caps outperformed other size segments. In each easing cycle since the 1970s, The average returns of large, small, and mid caps are calculated using the index to the 101st Fed cut, which is 12 months after the first cut. What follows is Seth Golden's writing, and I will explain it in detail so that everyone may follow along. Without mentioning a recession, he merely penned the following: Federal Reserve, reducing cycles. Then, because it had already transpired, he wrote "lead check" in all capital letters. Next, he added "mid-caps follow check" to the text. This hasn't occurred yet, therefore he has a small siren here. "Small capitals lag" was what he wrote. And so, to this point, small caps have lagged significantly, more so than at any point in the cryptocurrency asset class's history. As I mentioned earlier in the year, there have been instances in history where, I think I mentioned this in January. Keep in mind that there have been historical instances where huge caps did indeed take off, but little caps appeared a very long time afterward, maybe 10 months later or more. Thus, the Russell 2000 Small Cap Index can be considered. What matters to us is that you can observe it beginning to play catch-up. An alt season is what you need if you want your XRP to go. Because we have never had an alt season without expansion in the stock market, you best hope that we get it if you want an alt season. The rationale for this is that assets are at risk while dealing with cryptocurrency and stocks. Investors regard them that way. Because of this, they handle them similarly. Outside of Bitcoin, this is precisely what happens. Investors with a higher risk appetite put their money into smaller cap companies and altcoins, moving further out on the risk curve. People feel this time is different because, as I mentioned before, the main point is that this kind of lag has never existed before in the history of crypto. That is, unless you're specifically interested in the implications for the crypto asset class's association with that. Indeed, there have been similar instances prior to the existence of the crypto asset class. Finally, do tiny caps ever catch up? Along with this, he has an additional warning bell, and he documented only cutting cycles in which small caps lead to a recession. That is something to consider. His point is that recessions have always followed periods of small cap indexes outperforming large caps, and that this time around is no different. Let me reiterate, small caps have historically led the market in the days immediately following a recession, but that is not the case at the moment. What we are witnessing at the moment is fairly common in cases where a bull market does not precede a recession. Major headgear is the way to go. The next tier is mid caps, followed by small caps. This clearly demonstrates that. Thus, tiny caps lag in non-recessionary conditions, as shown in Seth's chart on the screen. And since alt season occurs whenever the stock market shows significant breadth, it follows that XRP face melt season is likely being held off until the very end. This is probably true for all altcoins, actually. The data tells us that this is the most probable outcome historically, so even if you don't want to predict the future of the cycle, you can't deny that what we're witnessing now is consistent with what has not resulted in recessions. You know, historically speaking, the kind of situation we're looking at right now is market bullish activity, with or without recession. This is really important. Keep it in mind if you want to know where XRP is headed for the entire season. And so, you know, it's true that small cap stocks have never before experienced such a precipitous decline in value, but I often find that when people say that, it sounds like they're trying to warn me that something is wrong. Nothing has changed this time. The viewer's presence here is greatly appreciated. Bye for now, and please subscribe and like my channel.